People who casually claim, bro, I make 20 to 30% every year in the market, should pause and look at real data. Markets don't reward confidence. Markets reward time, discipline, and process. At Moneydan, we give clear, actionable advice. Which stock, ETF, mutual fund to buy, when to buy, how much to buy, and most importantly, when to exit fully, exit partially, or hold for a few more months. This is not a buy and forget. And advisory is about managing the wealth creation journey through the peaks and bottoms alike. As a SEBI registered investment advisor, we must be on top of the game, not because we are smarter than clients, but because research and data crunching is our full-time job. Clients hire us because they are outsourcing time, attention, and decision fatigue to a process following entity like ours. Most people calculate SIP returns wrongly. If you do a SIP for 1 year, your first SIP gets 12 months in the market, but your last SIP gets only 1 month. So calculating simple return won't work. That's why we use IRR, internal rate of return. IRR adjusts for how long each SIP installment stayed invested and then gives you a single return number that represents the real performance of your SIP journey. Look at 5-year SIP IRR cycles. January 2000 to January 2005, 23% IRR. Some windows were even higher. A person who started SIP near the global financial crisis window saw this. January 2007 to January 2012. Just 2% IRR. That teaches us a brutal lesson. For short goals like 5 years, your SIP start time matters. If you enter before a major crash cycle, your 5-year outcome can look bad even if you stayed disciplined. Brutal lesson. For short goals like 5 years, your SIP start time matters. If a major crash cycle hits early in your 5-year window, your IRR can look weak even if you stayed disciplined. Now zoom out to 15 years. This is where SIP becomes a real wealth machine. The long window absorbs crashes, recoveries, and multiple cycles. Your 15-year table shows something powerful. January 2000 to January 2015, 17% IRR. Most other 15-year windows settle into a tight band around 12% to 15%. Even the unlucky investor who started near 2007 and got 2% IRR in the first 5 years still ended up around 13% IRR over 15 years, January 2007 to January 2022. The market basically says short term equals noisy and based on some luck and support. Long term equals more predictable. Now you know why a 20% plus forever claims by any market professional should be treated carefully, because across real cycles, long window SIP IRR often leaves around 12% to 15% in your data. If FD is positive 7%, long-term equity SIP IRR historically tends to be meaningfully higher, often around approximately 2 times the FD rate over long windows. Not guaranteed, but that's what long window data typically shows. So don't ask, can you give me 25%? Ask, is my SIP IRR beating inflation, beating FD, and staying consistent over 10 to 15 years? That's real wealth building. Final question. How much IRR is your mutual fund SIP actually giving you right now? Not the fund's 5-year CAGR, your personal IRR, because that number tells the truth about your real wealth journey.